It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Find us the door. All right, we've had some pop-up thunderstorms mid-afternoon. Much of our activity earlier was on the North Shore of Mississippi as the upper disturbance is moving away. However, we started to see a few downpours kind of pop up south of the lake. Another little shower right around mid-city. A little bit of activity that we had seen develop over the Bywater, French Quarter, kind of moving in the direction of Chalmette. Some decent rainfall rates. Nothing that is excessive where we get any flooding, and the rain is moving. Little activity that is just to the west of Kenner, generally over the, looks like over the Bonnie Carey, and then also a bit of activity farther on the west bank moving towards Jean Lafitte, a few showers around Raceland and just to the north of Lockport. So we do have a few more thunderstorms that have been popping up. Our coverage, though, has been far less than we saw yesterday, and most of us stayed fairly dry all day today. Boy, look at that little downpour that I was just showing you on radar. That's really cool, and you can see that rain shaft on our tower camera. Really neat to see that, and no lightning, at least at the moment. I get excited about these things. 83 degrees is our current temperature. Dew points most of the day today have been in the 60s, some lower 70s, so relatively speaking, humidity wasn't bad, and that allowed us to drop into the 60s across the area overnight last night. So we were a full degree below average for our morning low, 2 degrees above average for our afternoon high. In the 80s across most of the area where we don't get the rainfall, upper 80s. We've at least had some clouds and passing showers. Temperatures can drop. Again, the humidity has not been bad, but as we've been talking about over the last several days, models still indicating we will see a drop in the humidity throughout the day. I think Sunday, more apparent on Monday and into early on Tuesday. Now, what's interesting is with the Euro, we do see kind of this little surge of moisture come back in midweek, and then we actually get into some drier air. The reason for that, it does appear we're going to see a little disturbance moving our way into next week. What that little feature is going to do is increase our rain chances, but what it could also do is if it increases this northeasterly wind, is help to tap into some additional dry air, maybe keeping our humidity levels on the lower side for much of next week. Now again, not fall-like or even spring, but maybe a drop for much of next week. And we'll talk about next week's forecast in just a moment. Fairly light winds from all over the place at the moment. Our upper disturbance, which brought us the rainfall yesterday, spinning and continuing to move to the east. So that's where most of our thunderstorm activity remains today. Again, with enough instability from daytime heating to allow a few showers to pop up. But then we're going to go into a drier spell for tomorrow. Relatively dry. I'm keeping our rain chances 0. There could be a little stray sprinkle, but rain coverage generally less than 10%. So I'm not putting anything. But then on Saturday, we are going to see our front approach. This is going to bring down a chance for some spotty to scattered showers, mainly right along the boundary. Now, ahead of that front, high temperatures may get up to about 90, 91 degrees. We'll still have the influences of an upper ridge, and we get something called compressional heating ahead of a front, and that usually allows the temperatures to kind of increase even more so behind the front. Temperatures will drop a bit, but really more than anything, we will get into some less humid air. With that front itself on Saturday, and we have a low-end threat for an isolated strong or severe storm. That risk looks to be fairly minimal. However, it does look like the front itself is going to stall, so we're now starting to keep our rain chances hovering around 30-40% into early next week, or Sunday and into early next week. And then we're going to see that upper disturbance move our way and keep our rain chances around kind of off and on throughout next week. Now, what's interesting, though, with that possibility, it would likely keep our temperatures right at or maybe generally below average. So we might have not exactly cool, but a fairly pleasant next week with regards to the heat that we've been experiencing over the last couple of days. So upper 80s tomorrow, relatively dry, very warm before the front moves on through. And then once it moves through, a little less humid, still keeping some spotty rain chances around, but high temperatures seasonal as we head through next week.
All right, Chris, thank you.
The best I could do.
Oh, my goodness.